I have no idea if this is working. Oh, hello.
We're in the broadcast.
I think it's working. Holy cow, we're having some issues. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, January 31st, 2023. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and of course you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the outside and on the inside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. So give them a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Fitzy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. A little tired. Travel day yesterday. I've been traveling a lot, so.
Let me guess, hockey.
Yeah, yep. I wasn't.
I have some questions about that. And we always start with, why is this stuff on my screen? Click here when live for stream info and view. Holy cow. Look at this. See where it says YouTube right there? Or this little thing next to Kirk from YouTube. All right, so this is my positive thing right away. Is the program that we use now, we're able to do like a simulcast, I think. I don't know if it's called that, but something like that. Where I think we're going live on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. I have no idea if it's working or not. That's why I asked Kirk if he would, because we haven't tested this.
Yes, it is.
And so people that can that comment on our YouTube channel, on DrydenWire's YouTube channel, we also see and can put on the screen as well.
I don't think I follow you on YouTube, so I'm supposed to.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. We're just testing out because now we can go live. I think even like Instagram and Twitter, so we could be.
We can do live news.
Live, right. Well, it's really just for the show, but whatever. So that was my my positive thing. If this is working, I don't know. I think it's just kind of cool. I love techie stuff. I'm totally geeking out.
And I'm not even blurry. So far, Lance has done a great job.
Lance is killing it. So we may have gotten that fixed. Holy cow! After 120, 125th show or something, we may actually have it figured out. So I'm assuming your positive thing is, of course, going to be about hockey.
Well, that's the only thing I've done. So that is it's working great. Thanks, Kirk.
Great. Yeah. So if anybody's actually watching on YouTube as well, or other than Kirk, or you have to follow our channel. I mean, thank you, Kirk, but please comment. And if you're watching this on Facebook, comment as well, because I want to make sure that we can still see our comments from people that are on Facebook. I don't know. We're just figuring it out. So you went somewhere for hockey. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Sharon.
There you go.
Okay,
I
that's
was
working.
in Dallas, Texas for hockey, and I'm leaving in 2 days to go to Pittsburgh for hockey. So,
yeah. So, and obviously not you hockey for your son Jace. I have a question.
Okay.
I saw on your wife's Facebook page, it was something about Jace, and it was a graphic, and he's in 16 or only one of 19 for something. I don't understand that stuff because I know NHL hockey, but it seems like there's 100 different leagues or something, so I don't get it. So, but it seemed like a big deal. What is that?
Well, he was selected to play in an all-star game in Pittsburgh after this weekend. He actually plays out in Pittsburgh with his Madison Capitals team, and he was selected on Monday and Tuesday next week. He was selected to be on an all-star team. They take 20 kids across the country that aren't signed and not tendered, and that's a big, complicated story. But so he's one of 22 kids from this league that he plays in, this U18 league, and he was selected to play, and they're going to play some different NA3 kids, so they're going to play some kids from the level up from them, and he was selected to play with some pretty good players across the country. So it's a pretty neat opportunity for him. Pretty excited for him, and that's why I wasn't going, but I'm going to go out and watch him play on this all-star game. So pretty good opportunity for him to get in front of some scouts, and he wants to continue. He graduates this year from Rice Lake, and he wants to continue his hockey career, and this is how you do things like this to continue your hockey career. So, yeah, pretty proud of the work he puts into it, pretty happy for him, and we'll see where it takes him.
Graduate from Rice Lake? I thought he already – what?
No, he's in high school. He's online right now, and he's done – hockey's done.
I thought he graduated already.
No, he's in senior in high school. So he's been going to school and playing hockey at the same time.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So is he? What is the career projection here? Is this something where he's again, he's still young, sounds like he was in high school, you get better, etc. Is this something where he's thinking, man, if I can do this and get this and work hard and here, is NHL like the goal? Or is it, if it is great, but I don't think I'll get there, but this could lead to scholarships and college, what's the goal for him?
The goal is college here, and what hockey's different than any other sport. It's different than you go to junior hockey and then you go to college. And so his goal is to make it onto a junior team that helps him prep for a Division I school. I mean, if that's possible. If not, you go to Division II. There's Division III schools. So his goal is to play hockey in college. How you get to that goal is through the junior program, and that's where we're at now, is trying to get selected for a junior team.
That's awesome. We should have him on for a show sometime.
Yeah.
What?
I'm going to need an agent pretty soon, so maybe you can be his
I'll
agent.
do it. Yep, no problem.
Hey, we got your daughter a job, so maybe there's a hockey team listening out there that wants to sign Jace.
That's what you get.
We won't have commercial. We'll have our own highlight of Jace commercial.
That would be great. Yeah, we won't have Jace on. We'll just get someone from, some owner of a team or something. And
yeah, that's right.
We got you. We'll take care of it.
Chippewa Falls has got a nice one right down the road here, so that'd be great. And he can live at home. His mom would be happy instead of Alaska. I mean, they're all over the country. It's crazy.
Yeah, so how many – oh, boy, that's a whole other thing. That's a rabbit hole. Today, so by the way, we're going to be going through your 2022 numbers because we didn't do it last week because we had Eric Toney on for a guest. So that's what we're getting to. But that I don't understand hockey. When it comes to all these leagues, it feels like there's just hundreds of these, and I'm sure there isn't hundreds, but it feels like there's hundreds of them.
There's hundreds. There's definitely hundreds. I mean, we went to Dallas, Texas to play hockey. I mean, we live in Wisconsin. We went to Dallas, Texas to play hockey. I mean, that's how big it is down there. And there was all kinds of teams from all over. I mean, we played a team from California, played a team from Boston. We were from Madison. There was a Texas team there. I mean, it's crazy. We played the Anaheim Ducks, the junior Ducks, the 18 team. So hockey's a monster of its own, and we don't have enough time in the rest of the year to talk about all the teams in there. So
that's pretty awesome. Congratulations, Jace. And it just has to make you and Holly just Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, you do the same thing. Our kids are everything to us, and we just keep doing what we do for our kids. The little things make a big difference. And he works hard and plays hard, and Emma's doing good in school. And how is the library, by the way? How's your daughter doing at the
good?
library?
I drove over there last night. It was so cold, even though it's only like 3 blocks away. Yeah. So freaking cold. I'm like, I need an excuse to drive my Jeep because, working from home, I don't really go anywhere. So I put like 12 miles on it in 10 days since I've had it. So I'm like, I'll drive you. So it's like I just, Drew the other day, she's like, oh, we're almost out of milk. I'm like, I'll go get it. I feel like I'm 16 again, where I'll just, any excuse just to drive my vehicle, get a new vehicle, and I don't go anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
It looks pretty, right?
It does look pretty sitting in the driveway. So speaking of little things make a big difference, so part of our quick hits and shout outs, we didn't have any press releases or articles. I wanted to say, give a shout out to Brian with a Y. I don't know this person. We've communicated a little bit over Facebook or some comments. He sent a few messages. Don't know the person very well at all, but he sent this to me or to DrydenWire's Facebook page, and he put, as a compliment, just want you to know you help remind me how you can learn and have a conversation with the other parties. Speaking of, politicians and Republicans and Democrats, I'm a liberal, no secret. But through your work, getting to know you as a person and dialogue reminds me how important it continues to be, remembering we are still people and more brings us together than separates. Thanks for all you do. Dude, that just made my day. He sent it, I think, last Friday, and it felt so good. I was like on this emotional high for the rest of the day. And isn't that silly? Just one compliment just can make your day.
Yeah, and Eric Toney told us that last week, how, we can come together and make some big difference in things just by voting on April. And we try to do that every day. And Foster Freeze, the late Foster Freeze, and now Lynn Freeze continuing to do her left, right. And it's just like, have coffee with somebody that you disagree with and sit and listen to them. Don't argue with them, just sit and listen. It's pretty neat what he does and the Foster Outriders and that organization. And it's truly, we started that a year and a half ago, 125 episodes, little things make a big difference. And that's why we started the show, not to talk about ourselves and that's all we do now.
Well, a little bit about ourselves, but
well, a little bit. Yeah. But
It's
it
our show.
just started to just make a difference and make somebody smile. And a lot of people do that for us. And it's the little things,
Yeah.
sending that little note that didn't take him more than 10 seconds to write, and it made you feel good for 4 days.
Yeah.
It's the little things that make a big difference.
Amen to that. No kidding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did you have any other announcements or anything that we needed to bring up before we get to our main topic, of course, which is my favorite part? And everyone can play along. So if you're watching this live, this is like my favorite thing to do because Fitzy will go through last year's numbers in his annual report. You had issued that a couple of weeks ago, and we can kind of guess like how was crime up or down, and specifically what areas. So I love doing this stuff.
No
Any other
cheating.
announcements? No, I didn't even look at it. I have not looked at it.
The people out there, because it's been out there on our website.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
All right, cool. Well, we'll get into that after word from Spooner Health. We'll be back in 15 seconds.
Satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit spoonerhealth.com.
All right. Do you have the report up in front of you? I'm going to get a piece. No, I'm going to write this down. All righty. So where are we starting? So this is, explain to people who don't know, which I'm assuming they all do. What is this?
This is the end of the year report. This is just the synopsis that I started when I took over as sheriff to just show what we did in 2022. I think it's important, one, for our officers to get to know our statistics and where we're at, where our highlights were, where maybe where some of our deficiencies are, and then the public to understand what law enforcement does during the year. And now these are just Barron County Sheriff's Department's numbers for the most part. Like when we get into the dispatch calls and the jail logs, that's countywide, how many, calls into the dispatch center. But when we look at OWIs, traffic stops, SWAT calls, whatever it is, those are strictly Sheriff's Department numbers. They don't include any municipalities. So these are just Sheriff's Department numbers, and I just think it's important to put out there. I think transparency's been my thing since we've been out here, and I think it's important.
I agree. All right, so where are we starting? What's the first one?
Well, I think we got to just recap 2022,
okay.
and we do that with no major cases in 2022, and that's kind of something new for us. We've had pretty busy years. What do we consider a major case? That's when our detective division, 5 detectives, all get called out to handle something. They were called out twice, but neither incident was in Barron County. We went out and helped Sheriff Finch with the shooting. Last year, our detectives handled that for her department, and we handled a death in the Polk County Jail. And our detectives handled that. So other than that, we didn't have any major cases on our end. Now, we did have cases that took up some of our time. It's not like we didn't do anything because our drug cases took up a lot of time with fentanyl. And the internet crimes against children tips have increased, and we're going to keep a really close eye on that. We talked a lot about it on this show about some of our child porn cases. And that's what internet crimes against children. We had 19 of those, and there's nothing to compare it to because now we're starting to keep track of that. But those cases can take up between 20 and 40 hours for one case, and sometimes 80 hours, some of our cases. So that's what our detectives are doing. We actually took some of our you'll see our drug numbers are down, but that's because one of our drug detectives was basically handling internet crimes against children cases, learning how to do them, sending them to a school, doing a lot of that. So that is where we ended 2022. The jail population was pretty steady. Our cases were pretty steady.
Wait, no, you gotta put this in question form.
I know, but I'm not telling you that the numbers are because there's some up and some down. So
okay, we're still doing the recap. Okay, I get it.
Right, we're just going to do the recap, but I'm just looking at and our goals for 2023. I just want to go over them.
Yeah,
we have a canine Chase retired on last Thursday, his last shift, and we're deputizing a new one. Deputy Hallbeck is off right this week, and then he goes to training with the new dog next week. We're going to increase our fentanyl enforcement and awareness. We're going to strengthen our school liaison program. We're going to look at our training, and we may start an addition on the jail Sallyport. That's some of our goals for 2023. So
Sallyport, is that where cars go?
Yeah, that's where when you get arrested, you get brought into the Sallyport. I don't know the meaning of it. I have to look that up because someone else may ask me that. And I'm like, I don't know why it's called a Sallyport, but that's what it's called.
I don't know. It sounds sexist, I'm sure. I don't know. Why is it called Sally? Why not
There
John
was,
Pork? I don't know.
yeah, somebody asked a question about an overdose at the casino. We did administer some Narcan. I don't know the outcome of that case. But I don't know why, if it was truly an overdose. I know we Narcaned, I shouldn't say we, first responders Narcaned somebody yesterday at the casino or in the parking lot maybe of the casino. That's still considered a hot spot for drug activity. It's just a meeting point. It's not because of the casino. The casino works with us. And the casino is not a bad place. I go to the casino. I've been to the sports book. I haven't been on a game in a while. Lance, it's getting bad. So high-speed chase yesterday. Yes, we had a high-speed chase. That is not our case. I'm not doing the press release on that. That is another jurisdiction's case. But we were involved pretty heavily in that chase yesterday afternoon. It started in Coles and Rice Lake and ended up all the way down 53 and into Dallas. So it went quite a ways. It was a stolen vehicle out of Eau Claire. That's all I know about that one.
Okay.
Well, I know a little bit more, but I don't know many more details of that. The bad guys are in jail. That's all I know. And
Good.
Nobody got hurt.
Good.
So there was a crash involved in that one, but I don't believe there was any injuries in that one. That's why I paused a little bit on that. So we can jump right into our stats. So
all right.
Neither of those press releases will come from our department. Those are both Turtle Lakes and Rice Lakes cases. So
got it.
We'll just start with the first thing, accidents. 2021, we had 291. So where do you think 2022 was?
2021 was what?
291.
Up or down? Accident? Well, I would say it's up because, I would say it's up. I don't know how much, but I'll go up.
Okay, plus 5. So actually 296. So you did good.
Well, I just figured because of COVID. Well, we're kind of coming out of it last year.
Right.
But yeah.
In 2020, we had 340. So we're actually, if you look at the 3-year average. Yeah. So it went 2000. I have our 5-year average. So we also, if you look at this report, we're looking at 5 years. 2018, we 356. 2019, 362. 2020, 340. We dropped 2021 to 291, and now we're at 296. So we were actually going down.
Really?
Up 5 doesn't, I don't consider that a lot. So, we're doing better at accidents. And that's just Sheriff's Department now. That doesn't include any of our municipalities. So 296 total accidents. Last year we had 9 fatalities. Do we have any idea what we have this year?
Wait, last year? Aren't we doing last year? Oh, you're saying 2021 you had 9.
2021 we had 9. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So, and then accidents or fatalities? You said
fatalities.
Fatalities. Well, no. You had none. We talked about that, right? You had none up to like October, and I think 30. It was like I don't know, 6, 7, or 8, somewhere in there. So I was like down because they're all happening like within 30 or 45 days, or most of them did. So it was. I think it was. Oh, there. I'll go with Renee. 7.
Yeah, Renee's right. 7 is the answer. We were down 2 fatalities, but again, we didn't have any until September 30th. So you're going to like this one. Well, you're not going to like this one. I don't like this one. But this was OWIs. We're going to switch the topic to OWIs.
Okay.
So how many OWIs in 2022? I got to flip the page for 2021. There was 78.
Okay. Can you give me 2019 numbers?
Give me, in the last 5 years, it's 93, 83, 85, 78. 93, 83, 85, and 78. That's the last 5 years.
So is it up or down basically over last year? And last year was 78.
Yep.
Jeepers, I don't know. Does anyone have a guess? Or OWIs up or down? I'm going to say up.
I'm just looking to see if anybody else is voting.
No, nobody else says anything.
Yeah. And it is up. It's up 5, so 83. Not a huge increase. But what's interesting about it is we've been trying to keep track over the last couple of years on the times of the day that people are getting caught. And last year, about 50% of the arrests took place between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. This year, it's up to 59% of the arrests took place between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. I know that's a big stretch, but that's the time.
That's when people are driving. That's like when, well, not me.
You and I are out.
No, not me. But Jerusha, I don't go anywhere.
So that's up 9%. So 60% of our arrests took place between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m.
And that's interesting. Wait, what was? Well, maybe don't have it, but that's interesting because I would have believed that or kind of understood it a little bit more, like during COVID when people were working from home, maybe more day drinking. There's studies that have shown that that's kind of what happened. But we're kind of out of that as of last year, so that surprises me a little bit.
Yeah,
That it's gone up in the daytime. Well, 7 in the morning to 10 at night. It's not all day, but still.
And it's gone from 32% in 2020 to 50 to 59%.
That's not a good trend.
That is not a good trend. And if you look at that, you see we're arresting people in that 4 to 8 p.m. For OWI, and obviously some other times. So I don't like that number. And this is the one thing that's 100% preventable. Yep. This is the one where we can say we had 0 OWIs. Well, obviously that's not going to happen, but I think it's interesting, but I think that stat, the 83 is not a big number. Everybody's going to look at 83 and say that's not a big number. And then that's just the sheriff's department. That doesn't include any of our police departments. But 59%.
7 in the morning to 10 at night.
Yeah, that's too many. And that's when my kids are on the road, your kids are on the road, your family
coming back from football practice.
Yeah.
Back from the movies.
People, I got a call yesterday or email yesterday about post proms, and we're starting to take post proms. And, we used to go, post proms used to be till 5 in the morning. And we're getting them done between 2 and 3, just give them a couple hours to have some fun and then send them home. And everybody's worried about drunk drivers on the road at 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, 59% of our people are
apparently not anymore.
Keep them till 10 and we're okay. They got a 40% or 20.
Holy
20.
cow.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So again, not a huge increase again, but just a very slight increase on that. So traffic stops.
Hold on. Do you have it listed out by days?
Oh, yes, I do. So 83.
So Saturday has to be the most popular, the most common day. They had to have the most.
Yep. So Saturday had 22 of the 83. Friday was 12 and Sunday was 14. So that Friday night into Saturday morning, but Wednesdays were 11. Fridays were only 12, but Wednesdays are 11. Mondays were 15.
That would make it what? The second.
Sunday at midnight till Monday at midnight. That's how we keep track of them.
Oh, well, wait a minute. You know what? I think I know why. Hold on. Calendar. January. Nope. July 4th is a Monday. I bet that's part of it. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. Or 15, it could be. 15 of the 83 were female. The youngest person was 16. The oldest person was 72. So
really? Only 72? I would have thought that would have been a little, well, never mind.
Oldest, 72.
Yeah, I just thought it would have been somebody older. But no, 16. You can get a OWI at 16? Oh, I suppose you can. Duh.
Yeah,
never thought
anybody. Our youngest a couple years ago was 14.
Jeepers.
So our oldest person in the last 5 years was 74. So we almost, maybe we'll give a award out if you're the oldest person you can know that.
Yeah, right.
So you didn't make it. Sorry, you didn't make the cut this year. You were 2 years short. Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Traffic data. Number of traffic stops.
Traffic stops.
So the last couple years, 1732, 1318. That was a COVID year. 2,189, 2,009.
Yeah, I would say it went up.
Yeah, it did. And I think when you see, the trend should be, the stats hopefully lend this to us, and I was hoping when it got all done it did. When we have less cases, when our patrol is involved in not so many major cases, traffic data should go up. If I'm a major case, like last night, today, they're very busy on some stuff, so there's not a lot of traffic stops. We went up 326, so 2,058 traffic stops. Citations were down 26. So really 2,000 stops, 1,000 tickets. So
how many tickets did you have in 2021?
1,029, so that's down 26.
What about how about 2019? That'd be like pre-COVID.
2019 there was 1299. So yeah, more.
So
More
fewer
traffic.
citations, actually. So the citations went down, but the traffic stops went up.
Mm-hmm. Means we're doing some more community policing.
Okay. I was just going
So-
to ask, what would you attribute that to?
I would contribute that to just we're trying to teach rather than give citations. It's officer discretion. Officer discretion if you get a citation or not. Some people get a citation for 10 over. Some people get it for 15 over. It's all time of day, traffic. A lot of things goes into account. Your attitude. That's just an officer discretion. If they think a warning is going to teach you a lesson, or if they think the citation is needed because you don't care, or you're like, oh well, I was speeding. What are you going to do about it? Well, here's what I'm going to do about it. So it can be many factors go into officer discretion.
Sure.
So the next one, we're not going to have you guess. I just want to talk a little bit about it. It's our recreational deputies. That would be our snow, water, and ATV patrol. All of those numbers are up. We spent more time doing patrol this year intentionally. We've changed some of the duties of that person, and we did get them out in the snow more. There was more snow last year. There's going to be a lot more snow this year. This is actually a 21-22 number because snow is figured differently. Water was actually down this year in patrol hours because we were just busier in the summer. We had 4 drownings. Did we have 3 drownings in 2022? 3 drownings. They take up a lot of time. One took a week and a half up. That reduces our hours on the boat patrol. We don't get to count those hours when we're out there with the drowning. So 3 drownings in 2022. So that was what we're up. So ATVs, water, snow, we're still doing that pretty heavily in there. So
All right. And just, so I just got a text message from someone who's watching and asked if my shirt is inside out. Yes, it is inside out. But that's because I wore it yesterday, and I'm trying to keep the laundry pile down for Drusha, so she doesn't have to wash as many clothes. So I just turn it inside out and wear it the next day. So far, it's going well. So I guess somebody noticed. But little things make a big difference. Fewer clothes for her to wash.
That's it. That's all you do is do things for your wife. That's all you do all day long.
It. I'm not stupid, man.
Wake up
That's right.
Total cases. So 2018, 1,275, 2019, 1,012, or 1,112, 1,176, and 1,191.
Total cases up. Yeah, no?
1,191, 1,176.
Oh, so last year was 1,191.
Yep.
So was that up or down? I couldn't catch all those numbers. Just what was the year before that?
1,176.
Okay, so it's about the same.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that number? I mean, total cases.
No,
what is
no,
that? I mean, that's like everything.
I'm sorry. I thought you were telling the year before that. It was 1,158 was the total number last year.
Okay.
So we're down 33 cases.
But it's about the same.
Yeah, that's pretty consistent. And 19 of those were the ICAT cases. And again, we take a detective away from doing regular property crimes, and they have to do internet crimes against children. Now, we're going to really keep track of that number. That is a number that we're going to really keep track of. We get those cases brought to us from a national level, and then we have to figure out which computer, which house, what phone in the house. It takes a lot of back and forth to court documents, to a judge to sign an order, to a phone company, to an internet provider, to getting some technical term, I don't know. And then we got to go into Dropbox and to all these other places where they share dark images, and then we've got to view these images. Internet crimes against children are really tough cases, and like I said, we were at 19 last year. We were told on the national level there's a backlog of those cases. Again, we are contributing that, no scientific data, to people working from home. When during COVID, we saw everybody work from home, but everybody's family was home with them. Now, a lot of these businesses said, you stay at home. Now your kids are back in school. Now you're home all alone by yourself. You can look at child porn, eat more easily. You can share it on your side computer. No one's home to view it. You can't view it at work. So We think that's why they increased. We have no idea, or it's just easier to access now. I have no idea.
Well, I don't understand, because everybody knows that, like Google, you're going to go everything you do. And like, I'm in incognito mode. Yeah, that's not really how it works, man. They can track like everything.
Right.
So just because it's open your browser history doesn't mean Google doesn't know literally everything about you.
Right.
And certainly the government would be able to figure it out. That's the weird part. Like, with all this education, all the people that do get arrested, and we've been focusing a lot on anything regarding victims against children and sexual assaults and online pornography, all this stuff, because it's so important. So you talk about it. We do a lot of stories on it, and yet people still think, they won't catch me. What? I mean, that's the part that blows my mind, is that they still think that they could get away with it.
Yep.
What?
I know, but if there wasn't people that didn't think I could get away with things, I'd be out of work.
Well, I would be okay with that on this one.
Right.
You're out of work, and that means nobody looks this stuff up. Then that's a fair trade.
Exactly. Curious as to if there's a high turnover rate for ICAC detectives. It could take a toll on a person. We haven't seen that. Again, with 19, we spread that out over 4 detectives. Now we're training a couple of them to be a little bit more internet savvy on some of that stuff. But yeah, it's something we're concerned about. It's something that's why we created an internal team to take care of each other with the suicides and things like that. It's tough things that we.
How many drunk drivers versus people on drugs? Do we have stuff on that coming up? Like how many drunk? Well, we did the OWIs.
I don't think we had the breakdown looking back. We don't have the crime broken down on drugs.
Okay.
A few of those are. That's a good question. But back to Amanda's question, there is a turnover. We do watch that, so not a concern yet.
Yeah, that's
at a national level,
tough.
it's got to be. If you're a big department that's all you did, I mean, I wouldn't think you could do it more than a year. You'd be like, that's enough for me. So,
yeah,
and we could. So no, not a concern yet. We'll see if the cases trend like they're trending. We may have an issue. So we'll look at that. Mm-hmm. Sheriff's sales are down. Paper services are down. That's always good things.
What are paper services?
Restraining orders, divorces, anything. We have to serve papers on people. We're actually down 262 less paper service. So that means maybe more people are getting along. Maybe the little things make a big difference. I don't know.
Maybe they watch the show. See?
Yeah, maybe they watch the show. Right. So, this one will be interesting. Dispatch calls. So how many dispatch 911 calls per day? No, so we have it broke down per day.
Per day.
Last year was 40.5 911 calls per day.
I'm gonna jump way high. I'm gonna go 65.
Oh no, it's way down.
What? Why?
I don't know. It's a good question. 1,264 less 911 calls. So we dropped from 40.5 per day to 37. So CADs, a computer-aided dispatch, or basically every call, a dog barking to a traffic accident to a fire, a CAD. Now this is countywide, so this is every call that comes into our 911 center. Last year was 108.7 per day. This year it is down or up?
Well, down, I'm assuming.
Yep, down 106.4 a day, down 837 less total calls in the county. So again, seems like a big number, not a huge number when you're talking 39,680 CADs, or 38,843 was actually last year's number. So 38,843. No, that's not one call per day. That is actually basically 37 per day. So that's almost 2 an hour.
Well, it could have been a delay there, so I'm not sure which one. Like one every 4 days.
Yep.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So 106 CADs per day. So, there's 24 hours. So,
Are you right now currently well-staffed at your dispatch center?
We're down one dispatcher right now. We're hiring one jailer, 2 jailers, 1 dispatcher. We're studying patrol. So
okay,
that's what we're looking for. Domestic violence calls, and I have a countywide number and the number the sheriff's department handled. So last year was 330. The year before that was 480.
Well, that's a huge drop. That's like a 20-some% drop.
Yeah, and no, 480, 330. What was last year?
Oh, I thought you meant last year 330. You meant 20. Oh, I see. Domestic violence calls. Well, those paper services are down. You know what? hopefully, well, obviously, hopefully that, I mean, it'd be ideal if it was zero. But with all the stuff that you talk about and a lot of the, I'm gonna, especially with that paper services you're talking about, I'm gonna say it went down even further.
I think you have a good analogy there with the paper service. Yeah, it's down 72. So we've gone almost down 200 domestics in 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Countywide. Yeah, and I think Embrace. I think St. Croix Valley Sexual Assault. I think we have a lot of programs. I think if you look at our jail numbers in a little bit, we look at all of those. You have more programs. We're getting people in. We're trying to catch these people on the front end so they don't reoffend. I think we're doing a lot of good things with a lot of good partners. And I think that's the credit to everything. And I think our officers are spending more time with people. So, I mean, it's a team effort on that. And we're down to 258 total domestics in Barron County in 2020.
That's incredible.
Yeah, from 480 2 years ago. And now that was a COVID year. So,
right, more people at home and day drinking. Just saying.
So, I'm going to skip our drug numbers right now. Just in the time. Text a tip. We don't need it. Bookings in the jail. So now we're housing for a lot of other counties. So that it goes.
But you always have been housing for other counties,
right? But we have been for the last couple of years. So, after COVID, we changed some things too. So 2019 was the year of COVID, 1877, and then we went into COVID, and we went down to 945 and 974. So, and I'll tell you why in a second, why those numbers dropped. We changed a few things to do that. So 974 was last year, up or down?
Well, that was 974. Well, paper services, the other thing was down, but the biggest one, wasn't it the traffic stops, but the citations were down a lot. So that has to also tie into, even though a citation doesn't lead to an arrest, but if those things are all going down, I don't know if it's like below 1877 below 974, because obviously a lot changed there. They're down to 900 numbers, you said, for the last 2 years.
Right.
It was 1,800. So I'm going to say it's like COVID numbers. I'm going to say it's still around that 974, give or take 50 or something. I'll just say 1,000, but it's still not going to go back to pre-COVID numbers.
Right. We're only up 86, so we're at 1,060.
Hey.
Yeah, so you were right.
I'm getting good at these, all these years of doing them.
780 were males, 280 were females, so a few more females got arrested. So you ladies can't blame us for catching on to you. So our female numbers have been going up steadily, just a little bit every year.
Just a little bit. A little bit.
So 1,060 now, that big jump from 1877 to 945, and now into thousands. We don't do book and releases anymore. We used to. You'd get arrested for punching me, and I'd bring you to jail, book you in, you'd call for a ride, and you'd get a ride home. You'd be out in an hour. We got rid of that. There's some police departments that don't like that because they think going to jail for that half-hour time but we the taxpayers pay for medical things. If you send me to jail for a disorderly conduct, which is the max I'm going to get on that is a $150 fine from the judge, no matter what I do, the max you can get is $150 for a disorderly conduct. If you have a medical event in jail, so we do keep the bad people in jail, but we got rid of the book and releases, which is why that number drastically changed. So there was a lot of book and releases that were just coming to jail and we still do that. We book you have to get arrested on a domestic abuse. It's a mandatory arrest, but you can book out. You pay $150 and you're out of jail within a half hour after.
What you said. So when we went from 2019 pre-COVID, and then it dropped basically almost exactly in half in 2020. Right. Was that you started this because of COVID? Is that correct? Or that's a huge component as to why. So we don't have a whole bunch of people sitting in here. Because you remember, obviously in 2020, nobody really understood what this was all about.
Correct.
But you're saying that you have kept that in place. Now, I use it lightly. I don't want to offend anyone, but post-COVID, I know it's still there, but kind of we're out of that for the most part. But you decided to we're not going to do the book and release on some of these things.
We're not. It just doesn't. It takes you out of the city. So the Turtle Lake, Cumberland, And instead of having a guy that got into a fight at the casino, drive him all the way from Turtle Lake to Barron, book him into the jail, have the jailers book him in, to have somebody drive over from Turtle Lake to pick him back up. I mean, the booking process only takes a half hour, and then you make a phone call and your ride gets here and you're free to go. So that cop gets taken out of Turtle Lake for 20 minutes and then back for 20 minutes and 15 minutes at the jail. Instead, you just give these guys a ticket, send them on their way. They get subpoenaed in the court the next day or the week, whatever. We worked with the district attorney's office on that. So we did make $580,000 housing out-of-county inmates. So that's a big number that reduces the tax levy in Barron County. So we've directly applied that to the tax levy in Barron County. So that's almost $600,000. It's a big deal. So and
that's
that
a lot.
number's going up.
And that was I don't know what your numbers were. You already just said it. Up. I was just going to say that has to be going up because I thought it was lower, like 400,000 or 500,000 a year or two ago.
Yeah, right. So we still let a lot of people. We spend about 2,200 hours on inmates doing jobs in the jail. So that's almost a full-time person. That jail cleaning, jail library, doing jail laundry. And they get an hour off their sentence for every hour they work. So basically, we were able to reduce a full-time person. Otherwise jailers would have to do all of that work. So underage drinking citations, 135 last year, up or down?
You mean 135 2 years ago? And so last year, 130 underage. Yeah. I'm gonna say down, even though everything else is up. I'm gonna say down.
And I don't have an answer for this one. It is down, but it's down 103. So we only had 32
down. It's down to 103, or it's down.
It's down to 32. It's down 100.
What? How do you go from 132 to
the kids got way smarter than us? I don't know. It went 135 to 32. It's down 103.
That makes zero sense to me. I'm glad, but
that is. That's either we didn't do a good job or the kids did a good job of keeping it from us this year. Now we did make some changes in the end of 2000 since July. And I think this has a little bit to do with it. Now, you used to get a citation. So of that 135 in 2021, you'd get a citation if you went to do a class, the citation would go away. But we don't have a way to reduce that citation. Now we've taken you out of it. So now if you're first offense underage drinking, you get a letter instead of a citation. The letter says you come to class, you don't get the ticket. You don't come to class, you get the ticket. So we've intentionally taken the court system out of that to reduce the levy, the load upstairs. We worked with our judges and the DA when we took restorative justice over and brought it in-house to DHS and the Sheriff's Department. So I think that's why when I looked at these numbers, and again, I study these numbers all day, all the time, and I think that's what we came up with. Now, there was less drinking, which is good. We went back to some PR, we went back to some prevention work, but I also think it's because now we're not issuing the citation and they're getting it dismissed later on. That doesn't come off this. So I think that's why. And our last one is SWAT callouts.
That has to be down. Because I remember a couple years ago, we were talking about it a lot. Like I was even tracking it. Like we're in February, if I remember. It's like it literally was like 2 years ago this month, and you already had like 7 or something. It's like it's only 2 months in.
We had 14 in 2021. Last year we had 3. 1 high-risk search warrant and 2 suicidal barricaded subjects. 3 callouts. And I don't think we've had one this year. I'm trying to keep track of stuff better on my calendar here, so I'm just looking. No, we've had
so what would you attribute that to? Well,
no. I don't know.
A lot of these numbers seem to be down. Domestics were down. Citations are down. Underage drinking is down. OWIs were, I can't remember where my notes, but not that much. It kind of remained steady. Like, was there anything that we talked about that I missed here that just had a huge spike? I don't feel like there was. Most things were either about the same or went down.
Our drug numbers are way down, but again, we transitioned our drug detective over to a captain, and so we had to replace to a brand new drug detective, which took him a while to get going. Plus, we then while he was transitioning, we put him on internet crimes against children. So we really only had one drug person. Our drug numbers are down a total of 72 cases. Possession of marijuana.
That has to be marijuana. Still has to be number one, right? Or is it meth?
Marijuana. Yes, marijuana is still.
It has to be.
Possession of meth is number one.
Really?
So we only had 82 possession of marijuana cases. So we're down 20, Ben. If Ben's still listening, although he hasn't chimed in here, we're down 20 possession of marijuana. But 97 possession of meth cases, down 9.
Well, the reason I was saying pot has to be number one isn't because when you just singularly arrest someone or for possession of marijuana. But we've talked about this before. Is marijuana a gateway drug? I don't know how to answer it. But if you get arrested with marijuana, you probably don't have meth with you. There's a lot of there's a lot of cases where it's just people hey, I just love my pot, but nothing else. But when you look at meth, and you could certainly attest to this, I don't know what the percentage is. It's got to be at least 50%. That if you get arrested with meth, there's a very high chance you have marijuana there too. So it's almost like you double that number. So that's why I assumed it was pot, because that isn't just one specific case. It's if you get a meth, there's at least 50% chance you're probably going to get a marijuana charge in there too.
Yeah.
No?
Probably not. No, I'm going to disagree with that.
Really? When you get somebody with meth, there isn't marijuana? We see that all the time when we look through things. No?
That's a good question.
Okay. All right. I'll have to go back and look.
Delivery of meth, there was 131 delivery of meth cases. So, I mean, the drug numbers are down, but that's still a lot of delivery of meth cases.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was total. That was total, 131. So it was only 12 delivery of meth cases. Some of those numbers, I was giving you the totals for all 5 years. Sorry. So possession of marijuana was only 10. It was 82 for 5 years. So, and delivery and the possession of meth was only 15. So, so we're still, possession of meth is still the number one drug, but again, our drug numbers are very skewed in 2022 because of the loss of our one drug detective. Yeah. So we're back, and cigarettes and drugs are gateway drugs. There was a party busted in Rice Lake, and I think that has something to do with the numbers. The forecast is cold. No kidding, Dirk.
Come on, Tommy. Or Dirk. Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, but good news, he says. Oh, I should put that on the screen there. Good news. When is it coming? Warm up for the weekend. It's Tuesday, so just get through the next few days.
Yep, it is going to be. So, and I think Monday was in 30s. So just get through this cold snap here, and everybody will get through it. So that is our end of the year report.
Sure.
So
what is your to put a bow on this? And I know we went longer than normal, but we always do when we do this, go through these numbers. And we could spend 2 more hours on this stuff. What is your biggest takeaway when you look at this and go, wow, you know what? We did great on a lot of things. So give me some of the positive takeaways. And then when you look at this, go, boy, we really need to tighten this and this up.
I'm just happy there was no major cases. I mean, I think that's great. And I think when that happens, then you should see your traffic stops data come up. I mean, I don't include any of our prevention efforts in here. A lot of our team do a lot of prevention efforts. I mean, we've spent a lot more time doing prevention in 2022 than probably we ever have, including everyone now this year. I do a lot of the work. There's so many things out there that we're doing that I've expanded some of that work to our patrol division. They're handling a lot of our prevention work, which I'd prefer they did all day, every day, and not do any of this stuff. So I'm happy. I want to see fentanyl go away. That's what I really want to work on in 2022. We're going to have more dead people. I mean, I think we were close last night again. If we don't have Narcan on some of our first responders, I think we have a dead person last night. And so I think we need to be more concerned about that. I really want to look at that percentage of daytime OWIs. I'm curious on what some of our police department's numbers are when it comes to OWIs. I think it would surprise us all. I think it's harder for us to catch somebody for an OWI than it is our municipalities. So I think if we're at 83, I know our police departments are more than that. Some of our police departments are more than that. It's just some of that stuff is 100% preventable, and I think we're going to continue to go out there in 2023 and do some prevention work.
Well, you talked about that last year when we went through these numbers, almost a year ago this month. And you had said coming out of this COVID, and I asked, looking ahead this year, what are you going to focus on? And if I recall, you had said last year, this year we got to get back to the prevention part. We have to get back to being proactive. We have to get back in the schools because obviously we're coming out of COVID and all the stuff that kind of went with that. A lot of things just you weren't able to do, excuse me, like you normally would have done. So if you have done those, which I know that you have, I think that is probably a contributing factor in a lot of these numbers. It's the stuff that you can't necessarily quantify, but you know that through all that work, because most of your numbers are down, which is a good thing. And what do we do different this year? A lot of things, but one of them was a lot more of the proactive approach.
Right. And, if we don't have a major case or a murder and we can cut down on our fatalities, I mean, those are all things that we continue to work on a daily basis. That's why we do these shows, to let people know about them and say, hey, don't go out and drink. It's, St. Patrick's Day, or it's the 4th of July, or whatever it is, or don't drink on your boat. If you look at that, we had 6 OWIs, which is the most ever on ATVs and UTVs out of them OWIs. So we had 6, and last year we only had 1 or 4 in one boating. So, so it's, we can do better. Again, the little things, call for a ride, do those little things. Don't look at porn on your computer. I don't know. It's, we're going to track you down. I mean, we don't do it. And we can get, it takes a lot of work, but it's, and I want to educate the people. And that's why we do our Citizens Academy, educate the number of hours that go into a case. I want to educate us more, and we do that. And I'm blessed to be on this show with you to be able to explain some of that to the people. And I know they don't all watch it live, and they watch it later on, and they fast forward some of it. But I know a lot of people love our end of the year report, and I love talking about it because I love the work that our men and women do every day, from our jails to our dispatchers to our patrol.
Yeah, and thanks for always sending those out. Not everybody does, and that's perfectly fine if they don't. But I love that transparency, and I love looking through the numbers. So now that we're actually finished with that, now I can go through, and I'll figure everything out and I'll send you a memo with how you fix everything.
How we can do better?
Yeah, how you can do better. Well, I love that stuff. I love those numbers.
I'll just forward it to all my staff. So
yeah, I just got to put it all on a spreadsheet because I'm a spreadsheet nerd.
And what you drive, your new Jeep, is easy to pick out, so they'll be able to pick you up when you come to Barron County. You guys need to do better than this.
Yeah, but one thing we don't want to see is tickets for tinted windows. Just saying.
I think we just bought a tint meter too.
Oh, you did? I was told it was State Patrol only had like one in Northwest Wisconsin. I'm like, thank you. Well, I bought the Jeep when it had the windows that I think are too dark. But everybody else does it, but I don't think that's a really good reason. I don't know.
We probably shouldn't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not coming to Rice Lake anytime soon then. All right, what do you have coming up this week?
I'm going to hockey.
Oh, that's right, hockey, duh. Pittsburgh, you said?
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Jeepers.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Trying to stay warm. Going to Dirk. I'm not doing anything until at least the weekend, right?
You're never leaving. You want to walk? I don't need to go get milk today.
Nope. No, we don't need milk. All right,
got heated seats in there?
Yeah, heated seats and heated steering wheel, which I've never had.
Ooh,
what?
Yeah.
And there's remote start, so I'll just start it. Just to let it warm up. I don't actually get in it. I just let it warm up when it's sitting out there. And
Eats is a thing at the campus this year. A lot of great food, supporting our educational foundation down at the UW campus. So if you're looking for something to do Saturday night, Eats is a great thing. It's literally you pay like $40 and you get to walk around and eat and drink for free from all these restaurants and a lot of our staff at the UW campus, UW ECBC, which is the UW Eau Claire campus. Eats is there. So Amanda and I serve on that board, and we're both going to miss it this year. So I won't be there Saturday night.
Right.
Usually I'll see it and host it, but I won't be able to be there this year. So
all right,
cool,
man. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
We'll see you. Oh, that's right. You're gonna be off next week.
Yeah, I won't be here Tuesday. You're right. I'm off next week. So who's on?
Adam Jarkow.
Oh, Adam.
He's gonna be filling it. Yeah. So for Barron County, I think I have that right here in my little exit script here. For Bear County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the outside and on the inside of your home or business. So give Brian a call today, 715-520-2271. This Thursday, February 2nd, I will be chatting with Washburn County District Attorney Aaron Marco, and as we just mentioned, Fitzy's off next week, so filling in for him will be friend of the show, Adam Jarko. So until then, have a blessed day and all that stuff. I forgot. We should probably have done our Super Bowl pick. If you're off next Tuesday, so Super Bowl would have already happened.
I want San Francisco, but they're not in it.
Yeah, I know. Brock Purdy is the next Tom Brady. That's what I said, but then he got hurt.
He's going to be out all next week.
Last I saw, the line was the Chiefs. No, the Eagles at a 1.5 line, so they're favored, and the over/under was 49.5. So
I'll pick the Eagles.
All right, I'll go Chiefs, and over/under 49.5. So that's basically 25. If each team scored 25 points, that's the over already. What do you think? Over/under?
Too good defense. I'm going to say under.
Under? All right, I'm going to go over.
You would go over for real?
That's Super Bowl.
That's 25 points apiece.
That's not that tough. I mean, 28-24, you're already way over. It's only 4 touchdowns for each team. I don't know.
I'll go under.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. All right, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you on Thursday. I'll be back next Tuesday with Aaron Marco, and then, Adam Jarko, and then we'll see you in 2 weeks with Fitzy coming back. Chiefs, Frederick. What? There's a Frederick player on that team? What?
Oh. Wow.
Okay, now I just want to sit here for just keep waiting for her to give us more information. There's a Frederick player on the Chiefs team?
Wow.
All right, well, we'll have to find out more. Put more comments in, and I'll go back and look at it in a little bit, Sharon. That is awesome. All right, cool. Thanks, Fitzy. We'll see you.
All right, see ya.